Fun fact, you can't lick your elbow, but you're gonna try, aren't you? Hello there, I'm Uncle Frank, and if you're watching this video, then chances are you are part of a very special demographic. You are either a former Magic the Gathering player or a Magic the Gathering player who's grown just a bit disillusioned with the direction Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro have taken the game. And you're looking to get your foot out the door. And you're also looking to see if there's any card games out there that are worth trying after you're done with Magic the Gathering. Well, don't you worry, because in today's video, I'm going to be performing my monthly shilling for Flesh and Blood. That's right! In today's video, we're talking about Fab once again. I'm going to be going over my top 3 reasons you should consider checking the game out, and hopefully by the end of today's video, I've made at least one of you a Fab fan. But before we begin, let's get 2 things out of the way. 1, this is not sponsored content, simply has to be said. 2, these 3 points are in no particular order. These are not like from best to bestest reason to pick up Flesh and Blood. They're just 3 very basic reasons that I think endear the game to me in particular, and might resonate with some of you out there. So if by the end of today's video, even one of you feels like giving Flesh and Blood a try because of one of these reasons, then I will consider this video a success. So, with all of that said and done and out of the way, item number 1 is the sheer volume of customization Flesh and Blood has to offer. Fab is a hero-based system. Your deck is led by a hero who has a suite of equipment, head, chest, arms, and legs, as well as 2 weapon slots. Just right there alone, the various classes your hero can have, the talents available to some of those classes, and the various loadouts you can bring into a game of Flesh and Blood means that there is a lot, and I seriously cannot understate this, there is a lot of customization and a lot of different ways you can play the game. Every hero in a class feels very different from other heroes in their class, especially with the gameplay styles that they try to push the users towards. Mechanologist, for instance, is a very, very good example of this, with Max, for instance, really wanting you to just absolutely create as many hyperdrivers as possible for the various payouts. Datadol wants you to boost as frequently as possible so you can get a bunch of free items into play, and Dash is just going to cheat them in from the top of the deck and go for her big swings. There's a lot of really interesting ways to take a given class just into considering the various heroes available to that class. And it really does mean that if you have a large enough card pool for a specific class, you can build several different kinds of decks, which I think is just really nice. The second thing that I want to bring up is targeted towards a specific kind of player, but chances are, if you're a Magic player, you are this kind of player. We're talking about Commander players. To Commander players, there is nothing more important than the social aspect of the game, right? The part of the main draw behind Commander is the fact that you just get to hang out around the table with your friends and play a nice casual game of Magic, or at least a lot of Commander players seem to prefer that. And if you are a Magic the Gathering fan, then statistically you are probably a Commander player. That's just a fact of life. No need to, get up in arms about it. It's just a fact of the game nowadays. But if you're a Commander player, then you have nothing to worry about. There is a multiplayer format in Flesh and Blood, and if you are more casually minded and just, again, want to have a nice, cozy, round-the-table game with the bros on game night, then don't worry, Ultimate Pit Fight has you covered. It is basically the exact same as Commander. It's not a singleton format, but it is a multiplayer aimed, usually designed for 4 players in mind, more casual experience. It aims with younger heroes instead of the adult classic constructed heroes. It also has a lot more variety in which heroes are available, just because the young hero card pool is just a bit larger than the old hero card pool. And that larger hero pool means that there are more zany interactions, more interesting heroes you can come across, like Datadol, Shiana, the Emperor. There's a lot of weird stuff. Oh, Blaze. Blaze is a newer one. There's a lot of weird stuff you can find in Ultimate Pit Fight, and it makes for a really engaging experience that, at the end of the day, I feel really does come pretty close to capturing what Commander has had to offer over the last few years, and that is a nice, friendly, casual gameplay environment that happens to be multiplayer focused, which I like a lot. And I hope that there does continue to come out more UPF support, either new UPF heroes like what we saw with Smash Palace. That was a whole product dedicated to UPF. That was really nice. It introduced a whole slew of UPF heroes, or just new cards that affect multiple opponents. I hope we see more of that. But I'm getting off topic. I'm getting off track. Let's go to the final point that I want to talk about today, and that is the fact that the game has something to offer both budget-minded and casual players, as well as competitive players and collectors. There's something in this game for everyone. There are plenty of ways to build budget decks and build out nice budget collections, thanks to LSS reprinting a lot of the more desirable cards over the years, including Findle's Spring Tunic, one of the most playable cards in the game, as well as just a bunch of really good action cards that just kind of see generic play across multiple decks. Meanwhile, if you're more financially focused and you are absolutely obsessed with getting the shiniest cardboard imaginable, don't worry. Flesh and Blood has some absolutely beautiful cold foil cards for your collection. They are some of the most beautiful foils I've seen in just about any trading card game. And it does have some really highly sought after collector's pieces, not just from the older sets, but newer sets, such as the Treasures from High Seas, for instance, can be both A, very much worth the chase, and B, a nice little addition to your collection in terms of both beauty and financial value. And it's really understated, I think, how a game can really appeal to two completely different kinds of players, or two different kinds of fans, because there's players who are absolutely in it just to get their quick games in. They have just as much space to work with here as the people who are here either completely for financial reasons or just because they want to get a really nice big collection. And I think it's great that a game like Flesh and Blood can exist to satisfy both needs at the same time, especially in the same set, which is just nice. It's just nice, you know. Now, with those 3 points out of the way, I'd hoped to illustrate the fact that Flesh and Blood has a lot to offer just for people considering it as a game worth trying out. But I also want to use as a little bonus point here at the end the fact that Flesh and Blood is a growing game. Over the last year or so, we've seen more people in attendance at events, local tournaments, and larger tournaments such as the Calling and what's it called? Skirmish season? The Blitz events that aren't Blitz events anymore because LSS is killing Blitz. I'm so sad about that. Flesh and Blood is growing both in popularity and tournament attendance, and it means that another little bonus thing is that you are more likely than not to find someone in your area who's at least interested in trying it out, which, in my opinion, makes for a game that is a bit more enticing. If you have someone around, potentially, some friends in your area who have already been a bit familiar with it, if you have someone who's already familiar with the game and people who are willing to run you through the basic rules and get you started, I think that's a bit more. I think that's a nice bonus. You know, just having someone in your area you can play with, as opposed to other card games where you might be the only fan for miles, which is a thing that happens for a lot of dead TCGs, where it's just one or two guys in a town and then nobody else around is even interested in playing it. Whereas with Flesh and Blood, more and more people are popping up basically every month who are interested in trying out, and that means it's much more likely that you can find someone in your area to play with, and that's just a nice little bonus. So That's all I've got for you kiddos today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Have you tried Flesh and Blood Out? If so, what do you think about it? I'm curious to know. Thank you guys again for watching, and have a great day.